All right, guys. Today is February 15th, 2026, as we do the live stream for the next hour. Thank you guys for taking the time to be here to talk about, The Walking Dead. Happy Valentine's Day, the Super Bowl, any shows, movies, anything else you want to talk about. I'm One Eyebrow, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about a couple different things we're watching now. How about you guys? I mean, I know The Walking Dead is on hiatus right now, and there's not really been a lot of news about The Walking Dead, obviously, because it's February. But before, back in the day, February used to be it. That used to be the awesome time of the year, was February, because we were going to get The Walking Dead. The new season of The Walking Dead was going to be playing. We were going to have that. Remember those days? But it's not. Now we have to wait to see what the lineup is for Dead City, which there's been rumors that Dead City Season 3 may not air till 2027. And if that's what they're doing, you're going to not, I hate to say piss a lot of people off, but you're going to aggravate some fans if we have to wait a full year for that. And to be honest, I'm not too worried about it. I don't really care either way. It's on when it's on, because there's a lot of other shows and stuff coming out later this year that I'm excited for. What's up, Big Tree, Tim, and everybody else joining as we speak? Happy Valentine's Day. I know it was yesterday, and I know it's a corporate Hallmark holiday, but it's still a holiday nonetheless. So we'll have to see about what's going on for the holidays. Did you have fun? Did you do anything? Did you boycott it? Do you like Valentine's Day? So Monday is President's Day. If you have it off, enjoy. If you don't, then it's a normal Monday. For the average person, I don't think they care about it unless you have off. It's one of those things where you're like, I don't care about any other holiday unless it impacts me to have the day off. I don't know if you are going to have the day off, but enjoy it. Daytona 500 is today. It's supposed to rain like across Florida, so I'll have to see if that gets impacted with the rain for the race. I don't really care too much about the Daytona 500, even though I've been to Daytona, and I wouldn't mind going to that race. It's probably the one race that I wouldn't mind going to is the 500. One, because I live in Florida. Also, because it's awesome. It's the Super Bowl of racing, in my opinion. So, happy birthday to Tim's daughter. Hopefully you're going to see each other, or at least talk, or FaceTime, or whatever. It's a big thing to be involved with the family, to stay in touch. Hey, Carol, how are you? Hopefully everybody's doing well. So Super Bowl was last Sunday, and what'd you think? Did you like anything? Did you like the commercials? Did you like that? I don't want to get too much into the Super Bowl controversy, because to me, or the halftime controversy, because to me the halftime is not that important, whether it's good or bad, whether it's the performance of a lifetime or it's average or it's amazing or it's okay. It's 15, maybe 20 minutes, I don't even know, that I don't really care about it, so it's all right. But either way, I don't know why people get all bent out of shape one way or another. But either way, I didn't even watch it really. I was doing stuff around the house during the halftime, and the Super Bowl was pretty lackluster because the Seahawks destroyed the Patriots, which we kind of thought would happen, and it did. So good for the Patriots. Jeffrey D. Morgan is a big fan, and cool. So that's cool, Tim, that she lives next door. So you hopefully see each other, and you get to either have dinner or dessert or something today. Everyone's a little different. It's always interesting to see what people do for birthdays, celebrations, anniversaries, everything on there. And it's just always cool to see that. I always like people to share if they want to. They don't have to, anything on there as well. So I finally got to watch Predator Badlands. And I was super excited for this movie. And it was good. I'm glad it was good. It's a different Predator movie, that's for sure. And if you haven't seen it, I don't want to give anything away, but it has the Predator vibe, the Predator feel, but also it's a different take on the Predator franchise. And I was talking to my wife about it after we watched it, and I'm like, is it the best Predator movie? Not since the first one is always the best. Predator is the best. But Predator 2, no. Predators, no. Alien versus Predator, no. latest one, I don't know if it's The Predator or whatever. No. Prey was good, and Predator Badlands was definitely good. So I'm interested to hear what you guys think. If you saw it in the chat or in the comments below, did you enjoy Predator Badlands? If you have seen it, if you haven't, I definitely recommend it. It's an enjoyable movie. It's a fun movie, especially because it's not just the Predator. There's other characters, there's other people in that help the movie along. A Predator by itself, I don't really know if it could really stand the test of time or hold up or make it enjoyable for an hour and a half or 2 hours, because the Predator is just this killing species that is out there to be part of a clan and part of this and a part of a group and part of a hunting species that just goes out there and has epic hunts, and that's what the movie is, and that's what the story basically is. And but I don't want to give too much away. I definitely recommend it though. On Hulu and or Disney Plus, you can watch Hulu through Disney Plus, I believe, or at least watch that through that too. So we're also watching another series that's crazy, and it's an older series, but I just came across it recently, and it's on HBO Max, and it's called It's Florida, Man. So it's Florida Man, and it's stories about people in Florida that are true stories, and they're reenacted by actors, but the real people are talking about it, and the actors are doing it to show you what happened, and it's crazy, and it's on HBO Max, and they're probably like 20-minute long episodes, and we watched the first season. I think there's a second season, and it's just crazy because I live in Florida, and so it's kind of got that feel, and everybody knows what a Florida man is, and it's just something worth watching. It's an easy little thing. The other thing that we watched, a documentary, it's a 3-part documentary. It's about the Long Island serial killer, and as I'm watching it, I feel like I knew somewhat of the story, and then in the third part you find out who it was, or allegedly, because I think it's going on trial, but the evidence kind of steers you towards this person, but allegedly, because he's not been convicted yet, or anything has come of resolution of it. So, but it's on Netflix, and we're watching it, and it's definitely an interesting take on the Long Island stuff. Even if you're familiar with it or not, they go into the different police officers and just stuff that didn't really know. And that's why I love documentaries. And I don't know right now, I'm in a little lull of shows because I haven't watched any of Game of Thrones, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. But I will watch that because it's, I believe, going to be 6 episodes, and I think episode 5 airs tonight. And I want to just kind of do 1 episode a day kind of thing, so we'll probably wait a little bit and then check it out for, next week. And we didn't watch season 2 of The Pit yet, but we're going to watch The Pit season 2. And I was going through the channel after I watched Predator Badlands on Thursday. I think we watched it Thursday night. No, I think it was Friday. And Thursday or Friday, because it came out on Thursday the 12th. But we might have watched, whatever. We watched it either way. And it's a longer movie a little bit, so we, took our time with it. We finished up Bloodline. I know I talked to you guys about that show on Netflix a while ago. And I think, Carol, you watched it. And it just ends. It's another stupid ending of a show that we just don't know what's going to happen with these Rayburn family. The Rayburns. And it just goes off the rails. Like, it starts off one way, it's 33 episodes, and then it just ends. And it's like, well, that sucked. So, Tim, what do you think of The Pit? Do you like it? Because I think The Pit it's got everything in a show that you need. Can't go wrong with comedy. Comedy is always good. The medical aspect is good. The chaos is good. The relationship stuff that's building up for it is, necessary for some medical stuff, and they all have it too. House had it, Grey's Anatomy had it, ER probably. They always have a relationship stuff where people like each other and they get together, they don't, or they break up, and there and this and that, and then it's just the whole drama of the medical field is pretty encapsulated in these shows. The Scrubs, even, because I know Scrubs is coming back too. So, but as for Walking Dead stuff, there's not really been any information going around, so I don't really know what to talk about. Besides, I've heard mixed reports of they're not sure when the shows are coming out. We just don't know when stuff's going to come back on. We don't know when Dead City Season 3 is going to air and the final season of Daryl Dixon is going to be on. So until that comes out, we just have to be in limbo. We don't know anything. We believe filming is done. Don't know what the future holds. And yeah, I mean, we're still all waiting along. There's other shows, so what are you guys watching? I'm excited I haven't watched any of the Olympics, to be honest. I don't really like the Winter Olympics. I like the Summer Olympics way better, in my opinion. But the Winter Olympics, nah, don't really care. The NBA All-Star Game, didn't really care at all. I don't care about the three-point... Oh, I do care about the three-point contest a little bit, but it was like, whatever. Dunk contest is a waste. I did see something at the gym that there was WNBA players had a one-on-one tournament, and the winner, I believe, won $200,000, which is a pretty nice payday for a nice little tournament there. And I think the All-Star Game should do that. I think you get 6 people or 8 people that want to do one-on-one games to 11 or whatever, and then you can kind of go down the road, make it a tournament style. That person wins, they advance, wins, advance, and that's the tournament. Or 10, whatever, 12 or whatever, 12, it would be probably 8 or 12 would probably be the best numbers for it. So we'll have to see. Yeah, Tim says, it's to me the usual hospital show, pill popping physician. I like it so far. I have Noah Wiley in the movie The World Made a Trade. Yeah, I think Noah Wiley is great. I think he does a great job. I mean, they all do. I think they all have their parts and their roles and their everything. I think they do a good job just being different people, different aspects. The residents that are there are learning on the fly. The person is doing this. The head person's there. This lady is dealing with drama from that. This other lady is dealing with that drama. I hope that, I haven't started season 2, and I hope that it picks up where season 1 ended, and it kind of rolls into certain things, and it's starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And, I think there'll always be a need for a couple different types of shows. Medical shows, police shows, law shows, and then reality television now. You can't put that back in the basket. News, obviously, sports, obviously. But as for television, sitcoms, dramas, everything, you can't go wrong with cop shows, law shows, and medical shows. And now even like firefighter shows. And I don't watch Chicago Med, Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, but I like that premise. I think that's just a smart premise that you have the shows connect potentially and that universe is there. And I think that's what everybody wants. You want to have this epic universe that kind of builds and builds and builds and draws people in and whatever, because you can go into that world and it expands. And I said it last time that I don't know what the best movie is that I've seen in a while, like the best new movie that came out. But there's been a lot of great TV shows. I think the writers have gone more towards writing for streaming shows, television series, streaming series, something like that, because the ability to have character development for many seasons is awesome, just like at Yellowstone. Look at all that. Look at the spinoffs. Look at the things there, too. And so before you know it, we'll be having discussions about Taylor Sheridan shows, all the different stuff going on. I know that I'm excited for Marshals. I want to see what happens with that in the Yellowstone universe. The Boys from The Night Agent Season 3 starts on Thursday, so that'd be kind of cool to see, where stuff goes with that. Hopefully it continues on, because some shows run its course and they just keep making them because they were popular. But you have to have the content and the story. Stuff gets watered down. If you keep it going on for a while, then it's going to be there too. Tim says, Sean, how to see Animal Kingdom. The faculty, Little Fear, was in the get-go but disappeared. So keep watching, Tim. That's all I can say about Sean, how to see. He's, what's his character name in there? But just keep watching, or to say that. He'll always be Pope to me. Every time we see him from Animal Kingdom, he's always Pope. Carol says, Cold Water got better. 6 episodes ended. Open for another season, depending on the fan reactions, possibly 2027. So is Cold Water worth watching, Carol? I know that's a Paramount Plus show with Andrew Lincoln. And I always love to hear people's recommendations. And, if it interests me, I'll check it out. If not, because I like to have people tell me about it too. And I told you before, I said this many years ago because I've been doing live streams on this channel for a long time now. But my friend Sean and we used to go to the movies a lot in the 90s and 2000s when I still lived in New Jersey. And we would watch a lot of movies. That's when movies were like $5-6 a pop. And then we would be okay with affording the movies, but now they're kind of outrageous prices. And we would see all these different movies. And every time, I don't know if every time, but majority of the time, he would always be like, yeah, it was good, or it was okay, but this was good. He would always like stick up for the movie, like every time. And he always would find something good in it. He would always say, oh, this was good, or, the cinematography was great, but, whatever. And then I'm thinking to myself, that movie sucked, or it was okay, and we're different people, and I think he was just trying to find the good in it because of how it was made. I don't know, either way. But if I like something, I like it. And that's where some people used to be pissed at me about Fear the Walking Dead, because they were like, you got to support the show and you got to say what it is. Fear the Walking Dead ultimately was a waste of time. I mean, it connected in ways that it was forced. It connected in ways that was there too. The Walking Dead was still a good show through the whole series, but the first 6 seasons were the peak of it. After season 6 to me is the best season ever of The Walking Dead, followed by season 7 that's one of the worst. And it's like, well, that's a step in the wrong direction, and we want to be able to go towards and build, and then conclude and resolve on there too. So yeah, and Janie says, The Pit looks like a good hospital show, medical mystery, but I worry I've seen a lot of shows start this way and turn into personal drama. I don't want personal drama. Well, I think you have to have a little bit of both of drama in a medical show. And for my take on it, the first season is all I've seen so far, is they don't go too much into the drama of the personal drama first. That's not the main aspect of it. The main thing is the hospital, the problems with everything that comes in, plus budgets, plus this. Like, there's a lot of pluses. There's a lot of things tossed in with a little stuff with, Dr. Robbie, or, and his personal drama makes sense because it's medical drama too. Like, it's not just a relationship stuff. Like, I can't say for season 2 because I haven't seen it yet, but I hopefully it stays strong. And Noah Wiley is also an executive producer, and I always think, like, look at The Walking Dead. Majority of The Walking Dead stuff later on, people became like executive producers in some of the spin-offs and stuff on there too, like Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride and Lauren Cohan and Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrera. And I think when you get involved with it, it's also another payday as being an executive producer and an actor. You hit like multiple categories of payment, I believe. I'm guessing. I don't do it, but I'm guessing. So I would love to see, I always feel like invested in something. If you're just a worker in something, if you don't have skin in the game, or you don't have, the ability for incentives, then it just makes sense that you're not going to put that much work into it. You're going to work at a minor level because who cares? If I do this, I still get the same payment. If I work hard, I get the same payment. But if you do well and you hit numbers and you do on there as well and the product's better, it just works better too, and I think it's a good way of doing things. And not every job and every avenue can have that, but I feel like it definitely is a nice way to do it too. So yeah, Tim says I got a kick out of the homeless, and yeah, no, it was crazy. Like stuff like that is not your average show because one, it's on HBO. House was on Fox. ER was on NBC, I believe, and the shows that were there, you have to stay in the guidelines of network television. And now HBO, there's a lot more stuff that you can see that, you can't normally see. What's up, Anissa? So, yeah, The Pit, I recommend. Yeah, I mean, we watched too. Like, I was struggling to find something last night on television or on streaming and stuff. And so, recently James Van Der Beek passed away. And if you don't know who James Van Der Beek is, he's Dawson from Dawson's Creek. Is his biggest role by far. And then Jonathan Mox from Varsity Blues. And he's been in a bunch of different things too. But he just passed away from colorectal cancer. And that is a terrible thing for someone to die from ever, but also a 48-year-old who has a wife and like 6 kids or something. But it's definitely sad that such a younger person died, and not everyone can live to be 80 or 100 years old. And it's just one of those things where the person's right around my age, and I remember watching the show. And so we were watching Varsity Blues yesterday, and then we put on a show, and it has nothing to do with James Van Der Beek, but it has to do with Joshua Jackson, who played Pacey on Dawson's Creek. He is in a movie called Skulls. And it's a 2000 movie. It was made in 2000, and it stars him and Paul Walker. And it's definitely a 90s, 2000s movie because the way it was shot and the way it was done and the way everything was on there as well. And it was just kind of one of those things where it takes you back to how movies were done. And before that, I was watching on YouTube, last week, Can't Hardly Wait. And that to me is a essential 90s movie that I was in high school, and all the characters that are in there too, and Jennifer Love Hewitt and everything was huge in there. And it was the heyday of it on there. And it takes me back, and it's one of those things where it takes me back to just the years of it. And Varsity Blues is one of those movies as well because it's around that era. And James Van Der Beek did a good job with it on there too. So Christy, what did you find Varsity Blues on? I found it on YouTube, actually. I was watching it on YouTube, and that's another great resource. So they have a whole section that you can watch movies on YouTube with ads, I believe. And there's like some of the movies are just minimal ads, but they change every month. So if you're watching a movie and you pause it, and then it starts the next month, like March 1st, it's going to go away. So, but we were watching it all right. And I was talking to my wife the other day about it too. Like, remember back in the day, you wanted to watch something and you had to have the VHS of it, or the DVD, or the Blu-ray, or the HD DVD, or the Laserdisc, or whatever you had, Betamax, or whatever it was at the time. Or you'd have to go rent it or go watch a movie. Nowadays, you just pop on Roku, Fire Stick, some sort of thing, your streaming services, however you have it connected to your cable box or whatever, and you're watching something. You're searching for something. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney, Apple, whatever, and HBO. And you're just searching for something and watching it. And it's just crazy. And I never saw that Skulls movie or certain movies like that too. And I probably wouldn't have rented it or saw it in a movie theater or did anything like that. But it was just pretty cool to see. And so when in doubt, go on YouTube and search for it that way and find it for free. And then go on your streaming services and search for whatever you're looking for. But it just makes sense to just try to find something. And I like certain movies that are hard to find. Like there's There's a movie that's a 80s movie, and it's called Vision Quest. And it stars Matthew Modine, and it's about high school wrestling. And it's one of those that people don't know what that movie is, but hopefully it's on streaming services, because before it was really hard to find on DVD. And some things, as I'm looking at my DVD section over there, and one of the stores was like a pop culture store that went out of business many years ago now. And I think it was an FYE, but I'm not sure. I forget what the store was actually called. And I bought movies for like $2, $3 on DVDs. And I still have them now, and I probably will keep them forever because they don't take up a lot of room. No one's gonna buy them, and if they do, it's not gonna be worth a lot of money. They'll probably be like worth 50 cents each or something ridiculous. I'd rather have the actual DVD and play it on my PlayStation or something that way too. So, but yeah, if you haven't seen Vision Quest, Christy knows. She says Vision Quest is good, and it's kind of cool to see previous movies, back in the day movies, and some of the movies hold up. A lot of them don't, but a lot of them do. You know, I always think about movies that don't hold up as two movies. One is Howard the Duck. That was a $5 movie DVD at Walmart. That movie's terrible. And also Monster Squad was not very good either. It was good when you were little. And it's a high school teenager movies that are a movie that they go against like Dracula, and they have Frankenstein and the Wolfman and stuff in there too, and the Mummy. And it's just like such a super cheese movie now too. So Carol says Fallout finale was good, but where will it go from here? So I have not played the Fallout games, so I'm not sure exactly where it's going, but Fallout was very good. It's an Amazon Prime show if you haven't seen it yet, but Fallout, definitely they're talking about doing 6 seasons. So there's a lot more build up there too. You know, where it was building up was clearly war, because we had all these groups, New California Republic and the Macaulay Culkin Roman soldiers, and all these different things going here and going there, and then all the people, you know, just all these groups that are coming to fight for something. So I guess they'll be going to Las Vegas and having showdowns, and you know, it's kind of crazy. So I don't know, but again, and then all the different things with the actual the vaults. So I see what happens there too. So Negan says a risky business. Tom Cruise holds up. Good. Yeah, there's in one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies, and I guess, is it 80s or 90s? I don't know I can't remember when it actually came out. But it's Days of Thunder. And Days of Thunder, to me, anytime it's on, I love to watch it. It's one of those movies that's always on, and I'll always watch where it's at. It's got Michael Rooker in it. It's got a lot of people, a lot of good stories in it. It's just good. And I really hope they make a second one. Just like Top Gun Maverick, it could be like Days of Thunder. I guess it would be Days of Thunder Cold Trickle. You know, I don't know, but we'll have to see how it goes down. And I've been watching a lot of stuff on YouTube recently about weird facts of different shows or movies. And there's these two guys. They're different channels, but they have a similar thing, and they kind of force some things on there too. And they're longer videos, but they talk about a lot of good stuff. And there's 2 ones that I watched. One was about Spaceballs, and I'm really glad they're finally making a Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. But I just really hope it's done well, and they're bringing a lot of the cast back. And Mel Brooks is 99 years old, and I believe they finished filming. And that's got to live up to it, because Spaceballs to me is one of the best spoof movies ever. Because one, I love Star Wars, and so it kind of connects the deal with that. But Mel Brooks still being alive and acting, and I don't know how many more movies he's going to do, but that's pretty awesome to see that too, and I hope that it works out as well. Spaceballs. And then the other one was about Kindergarten Cop. And that's definitely up there as one of my top 10 favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. You know, of course, like Terminator 2 and Predator and Commando and whatever, you know, but Kindergarten Cop is hilarious. And I remember seeing that when I was younger. And there was a fun fact about it that movie was made by Ivan Reitman, and Ivan Reitman he was finishing up Ghostbusters 2 when they were going to start filming up Kindergarten Cop. And initially, Kindergarten Cop, Mr. Kimball, who is Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, was written for Bill Murray because of Ivan Reitman's connection and the comic thing and blah, blah, blah. But the movie would not have worked, in my opinion, at all with Bill Murray versus Arnold Schwarzenegger, two different people. And it just works because of this big brooding man who's a police officer who's really tough and strong and whatever, but he gets not humbled, but in a different realm with kids. And the kids are so cute and they're so funny and they're so great and they have all different personalities. And it's just one of those, movies that I love and I quote all the time. And it was pretty interesting. So I love seeing those as well. Tim says Scream 7 coming to theaters. Got a couple actresses from Yellowstone series. Yeah, I know. Is the girl from Landman in there? Scream 7? But, I mean, come on. Screams have been terrible. Since the best one is the first one by far. And then they just jumped off the rails, and they always have a connection back to this and to that, and, to the original Scream people, and blah, 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 and whatever. And it's good that they have Courtney Cox and Neve Campbell and whatever. But when I think of that, too, most recently, Jack Quaid was in it, and my wife and I, we just watched a movie on Paramount Plus. It's called Novocaine. It was last Sunday, and we watched it before the Super Bowl. And it's called Novocaine. And the movie is crazy. So Jack Quaid is the main star in that movie, and he cannot feel pain in his body. So, which is very dangerous because if you burn your hand, you might not think to take it away. And certain things are just not really the best for it. So pain is important. Pain keeps us alive. It keeps us from, really hurting ourselves. But it was just a crazy movie on Paramount Plus. The other movie that we watched that's what we watched yesterday, Friday, I believe we watched it, was Wrecking Crew with Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista on Amazon Prime. And the movie's okay. I like both of those guys. I like Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista. And Jason Momoa is by far the funniest part of that movie. And he's probably the best part of the movie as well. And it's a crazy story about, two brothers and their father dies and they have to figure out how he died and why he died and uncovers this whole story. And it's in Hawaii. And it's kind of crazy. But it's worth watching, especially on Amazon, something to watch. I don't know. It's like a 2-hour long movie or something. And it's definitely worth watching, especially if you like Momoa and Bautista. So, Christy says there's a weekend guy on Good Morning America with the last name Tuma. They tease him saying it's not a tumor. It's not. It's not a tumor. Like maybe it's a tumor. So if you have to know Kindergarten Cop to know that line, because Arnold Schwarzenegger has a headache and he's like, oh, I have a headache, and because he sits down on the piano and it's like boom, and all the kids laugh and they whatever on there, and the kid, he's like, I got a headache, and he's like, maybe it's a tumor. He's like, it's not a tumor. It's not a tumor. Especially with Arnold's thick accent, and that's why it's so funny, because he's got the comic delivery and his accent just makes it funnier on there too. But certain things are ultimately fun for us all. Certain things are fun for, comic relief and an escapism on there too as well. And that's why I always enjoy movies, shows, video games, something to escape from reality on there too. And, I'm trying to do more and more stuff. I'm writing more. I'm getting back in the fold of that because I'm getting more stuff done around the house, even though it's going to rain later today. So I had to make sure my gutters are all set, and I tightened up the gutters, and they were rattling and everything, and now they're all nice and secure. And then when I was just checking up around the house before the rain comes tonight, I my neighbor's gutters are rattling, and you're like, you got to do some maintenance of stuff around the house, and it never ends. It's one of those things where it never truly ends for us all. And being a homeowner is great and tough and frustrating and exciting and everything, but I wouldn't change them for any part of the world as well. So it was funny because, you know, my dad's going to get a knee replacement later this year, and so I'm going to fly home back to New Jersey at the end of the year. We have to figure out the dates and everything. And we're like, oh, probably not going to do much till now, and then we're going to, like, you know, just at the end of the year, we'll do some stuff, my dad, and we'll go on a vacation, and we'll try to, you know, do a couple little trips here and there. And then all of a sudden, my wife's like, you know, what about this? What about that? So there's a brand of cruises called Margaritaville, and it's from Jimmy Buffett. You know, Jimmy Buffett died, but his brand lives on, and that's a brand now. They have, you know, 55 and under communities and resorts, and now cruise lines, and of course alcohol and everything else. It's a huge brand. And so there's 3 cruise ports in Florida, and one of them is in Tampa. And I was like, I gotta look into Margaritaville, because I wouldn't mind going on a cheaper cruise, having fun, but not breaking the bank and spending a lot of money. But I don't want to, like, waste money and go on a thing that's, like, crappy and whatever. So I've been watching all these videos, and I'm like, nah, you know, people said that the cruise was lackluster, and there was dirty toilet seats, and the food wasn't good, and stuff was bad. But that was a year ago. And I was like, I haven't really seen too many up-to-date videos of it, even though there's a couple that goes on cruises. They probably got the free cruise, so they said good things about it, obviously. Like, and so I was like, we'll do that. So there's all these deals going on for cruises that were going to expire in a couple days. And so my wife and I booked a cruise coming up in a couple months. And we're excited to go on a cruise because I would love to go on a cruise twice a year. And living in Florida, it's something that you would definitely want to do, in my opinion. But I'm excited because it's one of the bigger boats in the world through Royal Caribbean. And it's just fun because it looks something to look forward to. So hopefully you guys have something to look forward to coming up. I always tell people you got to have something to look forward to in a couple weeks or a couple months or the end of the year or whatever. And it's always good to have a couple different things, even if it's a small little 3-day weekend or a little trip or a little vacation or anniversary or something. Because, you know, my wife's job is really bothering her, and it's stressful, and it's all these changes and all these things on there too. And so it's nice to have a little getaway and the things to look for in the future for something for it too. So yeah. Negan, did you see Poop Cruise on Netflix? So I actually did watch that. I watched that documentary. The funny story about that is, so if you watch the documentary, did you see it, Negan? So if you watch the documentary, it's about a Carnival cruise that was called the Carnival Triumph out of Galveston, Texas. And the cruise was fun for so many days, but the second to last day, there was a fire and it burned up the wires. So they lost power. And so they lost power means you cannot have refrigeration, and the waste management, the toilets stopped working, and the food, it was just a mess. And the air conditioning stopped working. Without electricity, you know, we're dead in the water, you know, just like you would think. And so at the end of it, it says that the Carnival Triumph had millions and millions of dollars of renovations, and it was fixed, and it was on there too. And now it goes by the Carnival Sunrise. And that boat was next to us at the Celebration Key Island in the Bahamas, the new Carnival Island. And that is the boat that was there. So I want to make a video, because I have some video of Celebration Key, the island in the Bahamas. So I'm going to do that and probably talk about that a little bit on there too. So it was right next to us. So if you're going to book a Carnival cruise, just know that the Poop Cruise is now fixed, but it goes by, it's not the Carnival Triumph anymore. It's the Carnival Sunrise. So I probably wouldn't actually book that cruise, because I just don't trust how deep of a clean you're going to get in there too as well. And I don't care. You got to blow that boat up. And you got to start over. You got to destroy that thing. You got to start fresh, in my opinion. I would never go on that, personally, myself. So I love Carnival. I'm a Carnival fan. And what I've learned is Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian, they all have their good, their bad, and their annoying things. I'd hate to say ugly, but a cruise ship is Not perfect by any means, but some cruises are better than others. Some people get, more for their money and do it. It's just, yeah. Jeannie says cruises just don't float. They don't float my boat. That's all right. That's all right. There you go, Carol. Celebration, 40th anniversary. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I believe you live in New Orleans or outside of New Orleans, and that is a cruise port as well. So you can go right out of New Orleans or out of Florida or out of Galveston or the cruise spots, whatever. You can get a good deal. You got to search those deals. It's all about the deals, man. We got to get the deal. You got to find the deals online with Carnival, with Royal Caribbean, with Norwegian. And I love all three cruise lines. You get a little more, entertainment stuff with Royal Caribbean, a little bit more here, but Carnival's the fun ship. But it also depends on when you're going. Like, I would not recommend going on a spring break cruise. Don't go in March or April unless you want to be a spring breaker, unless you want to be surrounded by all that crazy. Some people do. You want to be around the chaos and the craziness. You don't want to go on there, during summer, because a lot of families, a lot of kids, a lot of that, a lot of grandma. So, like, if you go on a cruise, you're going to have the grandparents, you're going to have the parents, you're going to have the kids, which could be babies, could be little kids, could be tykes, could be, teenagers, could be, could be little ones, it could be anything, teenagers running around crazy to the little guys in, diapers and whatever too, and you got to be, because kids want to have fun and run around and be silly and be stupid and be obnoxious. But if you're trying to relax a little bit, probably you got to look into that too. So definitely look at when you can do it as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of cruises, so definitely look into that as well. That was great doing the Walker Stalker cruises because I was always having a lot of fun on there and meeting people from the Walker Stalker group, Walking Dead family, Walking Dead cast, everything. It was awesome too. So. Yeah, and Negan says, how about people that retire, spend 50 weeks a year on cruises? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I could never do that because even the best cruises, and I've had some great vacations on cruises, I like to come home and be in my own bed. Because you can get motion sickness, you can get sick, the beds are okay, and they're comfortable, they're not bad. But if you like a tub, majority of cabins don't have that. So you got to think of it as like, is it good for you? I'd say at least try it, Nice. Yeah, Cozumel. I've been to Cozumel way too many times, but it's nice. I mean, that is... So the funny thing was, I'm pretty sure it was out in New Orleans. So the Walker Stalker cruise, there was 4 cruises, and my wife and I went on all 4, and we're part of the Quad Squad, where we went on all 4 Walker Stalker cruises. And we left that in New Orleans. I think it was the 3rd cruise, and it was really rough. It was really crazy. It was really rough seas, movement. I got a little seasick because it never stopped moving. From the moment you left port all the way to Cozumel. From New Orleans to Cozumel. And I'm pretty sure that is the cruise that Norman Reedus, and I hate to say, I don't know if they're married or his girlfriend or fiance or I don't know if it's his wife, but they probably had the child around that time. Or conceived the child around that time because 9-10 months later, their daughter was born. And I was like, not to say that it was, but it sounds like it's a boat baby. And that was one of the times we went to Cozumel, and you walk around, and I didn't see any of the Walking Dead cast around there on the island. But there was pictures of them around the same shopping centers and whatever, and it's nice. They have all the same crap, but definitely haggle with the prices. I always recommend people to bring lower denomination money. Because if you take out a 20, they may be able to break it. They may be not. But you can say, all I have is $8. And show them $8. And more times than not, they'll take it. And definitely go outside of the port. The port is, the area, and it's got this, and they have shopping out there too. You want to go out right outside that. And there's other shops out there too, and they pretty much have the same stuff or very similar stuff. Walk around, and everyone's going to hassle you like, hey, you want to go ATVing? Or, hey, you want this? Hey, come in here. Come into the shop. Hey, you want to rent a car? Hey, do you want to rent a scooter? Hey, you want to rent this? Hey, 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 hey. Like, no thanks, no thanks, no thanks. I mean, stick with a bigger group of people if you can, and stick where the touristy stuff are. But it's just like, no, I'm good. I have no problem saying no. No, thank you. And it was just kind of interesting to see, once you've been on the port, it doesn't really change once you go back there. But it's worth going to, for sure. Because I think I've been to Cozumel probably at least 4 or 5 times. And you got to get your drinks and your this and your little things, but shop around. But some of the stuff can be kind of expensive. And then how do you get it back if you have to fly back or drive back or however you're doing, and then your luggage. And then passport's the way to go. I always tell people too, you can use a birth certificate, but there's a passport line and a birth certificate line. And the passport makes it so much easier, especially when you're disembarkation the last day. So when you disembark and you leave the port and you're back in the States, they take your picture the first time when you get there, and it's the same picture that's on your passport and everything. It's all, digitally collected. You just go to the machine, they take your picture again, and you go, and you don't have to take your passport out, and you keep rolling, and boom, okay, good, check mark, and you're out. Birth certificate is a whole bigger thing, and it still works, but definitely passport, way to go, way faster. Because if you're like me, when it's the last day, I want to get off the boat as quickly as possible, get through the port, back to my car, and away from the traffic, and then get home as quickly as possible. And so it's definitely something where you have to just know the little tricks of the trade and go through it too. But I always think, when I'm thinking about Walker Stalker, cruises, it was awesome too. And I remember walking through security, and I never was around any of the Walking Dead cast, but they were right there. I remember, because when you walk through, it's like a maze of people, and you're walking through, and you could see them over there, and you'd see like Ross, who was Aaron, or Beth or whatever, or her band, because you could had a big guitar or whatever, and it was kind of cool to see that too as well. And I kind of wish they didn't mess up. I wish Walker Stalker stuff never messed up, because they could have went on a couple more cruises or a couple more conventions. And I know it's a big thing with, or it used to be at least, conventions. But that was such a good time. It was such a fun environment, such a fun thing. And I know they do Tampa Bay Comic-Con and San Diego Comic-Con and all these different conventions and 90s Con and all these different things. And they're kind of cool. Everything costs money, obviously. But if there's somebody you can meet and whatever, if you love the TV show or movie or something, it's cool. It's cool to see somebody on there too, because especially if it's a person that's still alive and they're excited. Some people are not so nice at conventions, but majority of the people are, because they know the deal. They know the room. They read the room, and they know the drill to make people happy and get their money worth on there too. So Ginny says, I wish I could retire with an RV and drive all over the country. That'd be awesome. Yeah, you and the Dale and Irma, we're going to get in that RV and just drive. And I have a patient right now that's from New York, and him and his wife, they have an RV, and they stay at a campground. And you can stay at the campground for like 6 months, I think, or so. I forget what the exact time is, but it's only a certain amount of months that you're allowed to stay there. And that's kind of cool. It's got to be way cheaper to buy an RV. I don't know. RV is what? $30,000, $20,000, $15,000? I have no idea. But you buy an RV, you take care of it, you drive it up, you drive it down, you go all around, you just see it. But, I don't know if I could drive that because it's so crazy with people on the highways and everything too, because it's like, how do you see them? See the cars, blind spots, this, that. I mean, I know the big mirrors and you take your time and whatever, but it's just people are bad drivers, like, all the time. Like, not even, you could be a good driver. Cars try to cut you off. They try to do this. It's just, they want to speed around. You put your blinker on there, like, nope, you're not getting in front of me. And people are just, and that's not even RVs, they're just regular cars. But I don't know. I don't think I could ever do it personally myself. Yeah. I definitely think you got to look forward to things on there too, guys. And, where it's February 15th, so I know I said Happy Valentine's Day. I know it was yesterday. But if you had a nice thing with your friends, family, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, whatever, I was talking to my patients about it, and I'm not a big fan of Valentine's Day because I have my wife's birthday and our anniversary and all these other things. And that's like the days that are meaningful to us. And Valentine's Day is not bad, but it just feels like one of those days that's a money grab. That's like, yep, don't forget, this is the day of love. And if you love your spouse or your significant other, you will buy them something. And so we did. I got my wife flowers, and I bought her her protein bars that she likes to eat. And then we went to Publix, and I got some sushi, and we got a cookie cake and whatever, and we made some food last night, and then we'll get some takeout today. But it's just a nice little thing, and I would never go to a restaurant on Valentine's Day. That just seems they jack up the prices. You got to worry about, parking and this and people and whatever. And I don't know, people still go out. Does anybody still go out for Valentine's Day? Is that still a big deal? I don't know. Deegan says, I would like to spend the summers in Vermont. Nice rental house on the lake. Not that expensive. The 4 months Arizona is miserable. Oh, I'm sure. The summer months, that's where you want to go, right there, Negan. New Hampshire, Vermont, probably Maine, right, Tim? What's your summer temperatures like in Maine? And that's a good point. Man, my wife and I will have to plan a trip to go up there too, because in Florida, I know it's not 115 degrees like it gets in Arizona, where the streets are melting and tires are melting and signs are melting. Like, that's ridiculous. That's crazy that can happen. And Arizona, you got to step your game up with stuff that has a bigger, heating temperature or melting temperature so it doesn't melt. I guess, right? Some sort of sign or coating or something you can have that does it, or made of some materials. And that's where you got to go. You got to find those comfortable spots. Yeah, 70 to 90, okay. But I think humidity's up and down the East Coast, There's just no way you can get away from it. And Arizona is supposed to be a dry heat, so that would be a little different with the humidity. But, yeah, I like that. I like that idea, Vermont for, I don't know, about 4 months. That'd be a little much, maybe. But probably, is August the hottest month, right? July and August, they have to be the hottest months. So June, July, August. So if you went there like July and August, that would probably be pretty great. Go back in like September. Yeah. I've never been to Arizona. It'd be probably pretty cool. Pretty hot, but pretty nice and fun. Not cool as in temperature, but as fun. Yeah, my dad was so funny. I was talking to him the other day. And he was like, just so you know, I have some points for hotels that he could use. And because he brought it up last year when I booked a hotel, and I was like, I could have used those points, man. What are you doing, And he's like, oh, yeah, no, I got so many points, blah, blah, blah. And he doesn't realize how many thousands of points it takes for a hotel stay. And so he's like, yeah, do you think you could use some of the points? And I'm like, yeah. So I started writing down spots where hotel stays would be. And I got like 12 places for stays. I don't think my dad has enough points for all the stays that I would have to be. But, and it's definitely something that I have to enjoy because, but and then I didn't think about Vermont or whatever on there. So that's that. I got to add that to my list. Vermont, New Hampshire, something like that. Carol says Mardi Gras fell on Valentine's and the traffic was horrendous. I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was terrible for anything like that too. I was in Alabama in January and February in 2009, and now I know that Mardi Gras is in February because I really wanted to go to Mardi Gras while I was in Alabama, and I know it's in New Orleans, but it wouldn't have been that far for us to go there, especially being in Birmingham. And we didn't get a chance to go, and it was fine. And now I'm older and whatever. I would never want to be around all those crowds and all those things too. Like what did we say? My dad said something. Oh, we were talking about Asheville, North Carolina. And my dad's like, oh yeah, that's nice. That's where he went whitewater rafting with one of his coworkers. And he's like, oh, you guys should do that. And I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm good. I don't think I need to go whitewater rafting or jump out of an airplane or bungee jumping or any of those crazy things anymore. I was like, that's something you do like when you're in your 20s, maybe 30s. And now that I'm like coming up on mid 40s, I'm like, I think I'm good. I don't know if I'd want to do that. Maybe. But do people still go whitewater rafting? Is that still a thing? But yeah, so Jenny says, went to Mardi Gras in 96, stayed in Pascagoula. I have no idea how to say Mississippi, that part is Mississippi on there as well. So, but I mean, you gotta look forward to different things, and there's a couple spots, on my bucket list, if you will. Did anyone ever see that movie Bucket List with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman? It's okay. It's not a bad movie. But that's what I always think of when I think of bucket list. And I think it's definitely something that it's kind of cool to see about things to do, Because, you got to have things to look forward to. Trips, vacations, just time off. And I was telling my patients, this past week that when James Vanderbeek just died, it hits me like, wow, so young that it's not given. Tomorrow is not given. And my friends that have passed away and my friends' family members passed away and spouses of my friends have passed away or they're sick or they have, different conditions. And it's sad. So don't wait to do something. Plan for it. Go on that vacation. Think about doing something. Make a list. Make a bucket list today. And figure out a plan of how to do things. And put a priority. Top one. What's the one thing you have to do? If you're going to pass away in the next couple weeks or months, what would you do first? What would you do? What's the order of importance? What's the number one thing you'd want to do? And then go down from there. And hopefully you have enough time and money and energy and effort and ability to go do it. But I don't want to go wait till I'm 65, 70, 80 years old to be like, let's go to Hawaii. And I can't walk. No. I want to go and see things and see where Jurassic Park was filmed and walk around and do all the stuff that you want to do when you're young and able, or younger and more able. And that's just a simple thing in there too. But also keep in touch with your friends, your family. Shoot them a text. Give them a call. Email, message, direct message, Facebook message, or something on there too, Just say like, hey man, what's up? How you doing? Haven't talked to you in a while. Hope you're doing well. And I've done that from time to time with my friends. And sometimes, not every time, but sometimes they're like, yeah man, appreciate it. Going through a little rough patch right now and appreciate you, checking in. And it's just cool. And maybe it's just a little quick text. takes 30 seconds of your day. And hope they respond. Maybe they don't, but, you know, I just like the idea of, you know, being there for people and being there. Just a simple little way. It's just a simple talk, a simple communication like we do on Sundays. And talk with our people and see how it is and make sure we're checking in and seeing how we're doing. And if we can get a little more people in here, that'd be great too, but it's all right. You know, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. I think we got a great quality of people here too as well. So, all right, guys and girls, that's my time. That's my hour. I appreciate you guys taking the time. And again, happy Valentine's Day. I know it was yesterday, but still, this is what we're talking about it. Stay safe. If you're going to watch the Daytona 500, check it out. It's supposed to rain a little bit, so we'll have to see how that goes down. But let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. Definitely different shows, movies, anything on there too. I'll be back next Sunday to talk about the different stuff that we were watching. May start A Night of the Seven Kingdoms this week, or maybe next week. We'll have to see. Night Agent comes out this Thursday for season 3. Definitely check it out on Netflix if you've watched the other 2 seasons. If not, watch the first 2 seasons and then check it out. Thanks, guys, for watching. I truly appreciate it. And remember, guys, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. No matter what they are, keep working at it. I'll see you guys next Sunday. See ya!